Hi there, Dave with Crandall Office, and today we're going to be talking through our entire start to finish process of refurbishing our Aeron Classic chairs to make sure that they are perfect for you guys. So without further ado, let's get started. All right, so the first step in this process is to actually receive the chairs. And so typically these chairs come into us on 53-foot trailers. We unload these chairs into our warehouse, and then first thing we do is we count and inventory them, but then we just disassemble every chair as it comes through the door. So we're gonna take off all the backs, the seats, the arm pads, really get the chair down to the core of the chair. As we do this, we are gonna be looking for anything that's major as far as damage goes to make sure that any of those chairs get set aside and that we can dismantle those chairs and use them as parts chairs. But as a general rule, we're really not looking for functionality at this point. We're going to be rebuilding each of these chairs, as you'll see later. So we really don't care if anything's working or not working. We really just want to tear these chairs down, get them to the core, and then we can start rebuilding the chair, and that'll be where we start up next. All right, so the first major step in this refurbishing process of the Aeron chair is going to be doing some touch-up paint. And so we do some touch-up painting on the Aeron chairs. As you can see, there are quite a few metal components, primarily on the arms, the frame here, and the base. Because they are painted components, they are gonna show some scratching, some dings and scrapes. So before we do the actual touch-up painting, we're gonna do a couple of quick steps. Number one is gonna be, we're gonna be doing a cleaning of the entire chair. Because of the mesh seat chair design on the Aeron chair, it does tend to collect quite a bit of dust and debris underneath the chair. So we're going to make sure to clean all those components that we will be touch-up painting. And beyond that, we're going to be doing some sanding and scuffing to make sure that the paint does adhere properly. We are using an OEM paint that is going to match exactly to the OEM paint color and also going to be the same quality. But we want to make sure that there's going to be no dings, scrapes, or paint chips on the chairs once they come to you guys. All right, so the next major step in this process is while the core of the chair is out for paint, we're gonna be taking the seats and backs that we removed earlier in the process, and we're actually gonna be removing the mesh from each of these seats and backs. So we're gonna be removing all the screws, pulling the mesh out. Then we make piles of the mesh and the seat frames, and those are gonna get washed separately. So the mesh, we actually set up its own dedicated wash station here, where we're gonna be washing this mesh by hand with a very soft bristle brush with a mild detergent to make sure all the grime and grease and dirt is all removed from the mesh of these chairs. We then take that out and we actually do a secondary rinse to make sure everything is off and there's no residue left over at all. Once the mesh is actually cleaned, we're going to be setting those up on a drying rack to dry at least overnight. We want to make sure they're all properly dry. There's no moisture in any of these anymore. While the mesh is drying, we're actually going to be taking the seat and back frames and cleaning those as well. We're going to be, again, cleaning those by hand, making sure everything is 100% and ready for the mesh to be reinstalled. All right, so with all the seat and back components all washed and cleaned properly, next step in this process is going to be reinstalling the mesh into the seat and back frames. That's going to be a quick and easy process. We're just going to be reinstalling all these screws. We're also going to be doing a firm push test, and actually we do a kneeling test to make sure that everything is properly installed and that nothing is going to come loose once the chair is assembled. And then we are also going to be, during this process, installing a new under seat foam pad, which you can see here on the front edge of the seat. And we actually, this is one of the components that we actually did tool. This is made out of the same polyurethane material that our arm pads are made out of, and it is made right here in the USA. It is a touch firmer and a touch thicker than the original, which we found to improve the comfort just a touch. We had to replace it anyway, so we try to look at everything that we can as we're rebuilding and retooling to make sure that we can improve where we can. If you're finding this content informative and helpful, please click like and subscribe below. It really helps us out and make sure that we can provide more content for you in the future. So likewise with installing the new front edge seat foam pad that we install on every seat, we are going to be installing a brand new lumbar pad on every Aeron that we do sell. And again, these are made in the same factory as the front edge seat foam as well as our arm pads. It's going to be a high-end poured polyurethane product. It's going to be made to last, and it is made to OEM specs. It's got the thick side and the soft side. It's just going to slide right onto the chair. You can see we've got one installed on this chair here, and this is what it's going to look like on the chair. So now that the touch-up paint has been given a chance to fully cure onto the chair, we're going to wheel that chair into the production room, where we're actually going to go through all the working components of the mechanism of the chair and make sure everything's working properly. So the first thing we're going to do is remove the mechanism cover, and we're going to go through all the working components to make sure that the tilt limiter, the tilt forward tilt, all of those components are working properly. And so we're going to be going through cleaning and verifying all of those. Now, in the event that we do have an issue with any of the tilt components, we will be reinstalling a brand new 3-paddle kit to make sure that those forward tilt and tilt limiter functions are installed and working properly. We also get a lot of chairs in that do not come with these optional features, and this allows us to upgrade those to a full function chair. So that's what we'll be doing in that process to make sure that all the tilt and all of the mechanism components are working properly. And lastly, we're going to give it a good thorough cleaning just to make sure that there's no dirt or debris within the mechanisms that's going to cause any issues. So with all the mechanism components all verified to be in good working order, the next thing we're going to be doing is taking the freshly cleaned seat and reinstalling that onto the chair core. We are going to be leaving the back off of the chair at this time, just because we do ship the chairs with the backs off, so there's no real need for us to reinstall the back at this time. All right, so with the seat installed, next we're going to move on to the actual arms of the chair. We're going to be tightening up the height adjustment component. These can loosen up a little bit over time, and we want to make sure that they're easy to adjust, but also not going to rattle back and forth too much. There is a little bit of play in the arms on the Aeron chair, so that can be expected, but we want to minimize that as much as we possibly can. So we do some adjustments to those arms to tighten those up. With those arms all tightened up on that side of it, we are going to move on to the actual pivot function of the chair, of the arms on the chair. And so those pivot functions are these plastic components inside the arm. And with any plastic component with years of use, they are going to tend to loosen up and have some wear. And so we found that the only way to truly tighten up those pivots, the pivot function on the arms, was to actually take the time and the money to tool these replacement parts so that everything is pivoting and is tight. You can see how tight this is here, and it's going to be tough to move on my hand, but when you have the leverage of the actual arm, it's going to pivot smoothly, and it's still going to be tight and not wobbly. So with the arms tightened and the pivot components replaced, the next thing we're going to be doing is going to be reinstalling our brand new arm pads. Again, we tooled these right here in the US, and they're made right here in the US. It's a high-end poured polyurethane product, very similar to the new arm pads that you're going to see on a Herman Miller Aeron chair, both the classic and remastered. Earlier in their life cycle, they did use a actual foam pad that had a plastic or a rubber boot that kind of slid over the top. It was a little bit of a less desirable design. They tend to scratch easy. This is a little bit more expensive, but it's a much higher grade product, and that's why we chose to go that way. You can see they're soft, but they're still going to be very, very durable, and so that's going to give you a lot of good arm comfort there. So some of the final steps in the remanufacturing process are going to be to take the chair and actually flip it upside down. While the chair is upside down, we're going to have good access to the gas cylinder, and we're always going to remove the old gas cylinder and put a brand new cylinder into the chair. We're also going to be adjusting the set screw at this time, so it should be properly adjusted for you. Those can move a little bit, so make sure to check that when you do get your chair, but it should be pretty well tuned to your chair by the time you get it. So with the chair still upside down, we're going to be taking the old mechanism cover off and replacing it with a brand new one. Again, this is a part that we just got done tooling. It's a brand new component, and we tooled it for a couple of different reasons. The first of which is that these plastic clips that hold the mechanism cover onto the chair, over the years they can break, they can be removed improperly and break, and obviously we do not want a loose mechanism cover on your chair or having it completely fall off. And so that's one of the primary reasons that we tooled this. The secondary reason is that what we've noticed over the years is that if there is any sort of noise in the recline action of the chair, it tends to actually originate from this clamshell and how these two parts interact and slide against each other while you're leaning back in the chair. And so we took that as an opportunity to try to improve this product in a little bit by thickening up a few places and addressing where we found those squeaks to be originating. And so this is, again, it's a brand new product, but we're very excited about it and excited to be able to offer a brand new mechanism cover on every Aeron that we sell. So the final steps in our Aeron refurbishing process are to take that chair that we've worked on and roll it into the shipping area. In that shipping area, we're going to be giving it one last final clean, making sure that no dust or debris has collected on the chair as we've been working on it. So we're going to make sure that's 100%. And then we're going to be using some bubble wrap to protect any components that might get damaged during shipping. And then we're going to be placing that chair core into the box. We're then also going to be taking the back, putting that in the box, and then every chair is also going to come with brand new casters. And you see these are brand new, still in the bag, so you're not going to be getting old casters. They're going to be all brand new to the specs of whatever you decided to choose. And from there, we're going to be taping that box up, putting a shipping label on it, and it's going to be coming to you directly to the customer. As you can see, we've taken a lot of time and effort into refining this process, tooling any parts and components that we need, and really doing whatever we can to make this the absolute best refurbished Aeron Classic chair that you can buy. And because we believe in this process and all the parts and everything that we do here, we do back up all of our Aeron Classic chairs with a full 12-year warranty, the same as a new chair. We also offer free US shipping. We offer a 30-day free trial, so you get 30 days to test out your chair, make sure it's the right chair for you. And then we also, if it's not the right chair for you, we do offer free returns, so we pay return shipping, and we also give you a full refund once the chair arrives back here. So we want to make this as riskless a transaction to you as possible while giving you the absolute best chair that we can. Thanks for taking the time to watch this video on how we refurbish our Aeron Classic chairs here at Crandall Office Furniture. If you've got any questions at all about this process or anything else here, don't hesitate to reach out to us at our website, crandalloffice.com, our Facebook page, anywhere you can reach us. We're always here to help. Also, if you found this video helpful, please click the like and subscribe buttons below. It really helps us out. So thanks again for watching, and we'll see you next time. All right, so with all the, okay, we'll get there. As you can see, we've taken a lot of time and effort into refining. I liked that, but then I lost where I was going to go with that. Likewise with every installing new front edge seat foam, right? Front edge seat, okay. The first step in that shipping process is going to be, stop rambling, stop it! No components that, you can cut this and start over.